time to take a 9-month master class, and I fasted and I prayed to figure out who I was. Because if you don't know who you are, you're not going to be able to walk in your purpose.
Right.
And so God began to teach me who I was in Him. And so in the God zone is where is my vision to live unto God, because He saved my life. It's to live by the Spirit. It's to live unto Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of my faith. It's to live unto Him as my Redeemer. He's my friend.
Yes.
He is my everything. He is the lover of my soul. He is the bishop
Hallelujah.
of my soul. So I got to stay in the God zone. And out of the God zone flows all of this. It flows my prayer life. It flows my intercession life. It flows my gifts. Over here, one of the things that I really got out of doing my vision board again was that I am God's distribution center.
That's right.
That's right.
Amen.
I am His warehouse.
That's right. You better teach. That's right.
I am His warehouse. I am an extension of who He is, of His kingliness. I am, from my story, I am His distribution center because homelessness wrecked my family and wandering wrecked my family. So I said yes to being your distribution center, God, to learn about money, to learn what the energy of it is, to learn what I'm supposed to do with it. Because when you are in a marriage and somebody else does everything, and then you get out of that marriage and you divorce and you don't know what to do with your money, you got to learn who you are, why you do what you do, why you do what you do with money. And you have to face that. So in order for me to be God's distribution center, I have to again learn about me. So I am God's distribution center, and that flows from the God zone. These are my jewels because God is everything. He's all that.
Yes,
and
He
anything
is.
that flows from Him is rich, is goodness. And so my family is in the God zone. That will flow from that. I have seen dysfunction in families for as long as I can remember. Out of the God zone, my vision is healthy family. My vision is proper communication in family. My vision is learn how to sit down and talk to each other and stop yelling and screaming and just putting stuff under the rug and don't deal with it and don't talk about it. No, we have to talk about things that hurt us. I went through so much trauma over the last 3 years that I didn't know how to deal with. And it wasn't until I went to a therapist
Teach it.
to figure out my life.
Nothing wrong with that.
And so this is good. So I want healthy family. I want my girls to know. I tell my girls all the time, they're 18 or 19 and 21. She will get me if I say she was 18 again. But I tell them all the time, yes, we went through what we went through. And it was hard and it was traumatic. And because infidelity don't just tear up the mom and the dad, it tears up the kid.
Yes, it does.
And so you have to not just pray for yourself, you got to get the whole family back. And so that's one of my visions is healthy family. I tell my girls, I say, yeah, we went through what we went through. But because our faith trumps our color, our faith trumps our tragedy, our faith trumps all of that, we're not statistics.
Yeah, that's right.
So out of that will flow that. The biggest thing for me is soul wealth.
Yeah.
I know that I am God's edifier. I'm called to edify people. And so my vision is to create soul wealth in my life, in my mind, my will, and my emotions, and to create that for other people, create an atmosphere where people can heal. A lot of the reasons why I made some of the decisions that I made in my life is because my soul wasn't healed. My mind, my will, and my emotions leaned in. And so, like Charlotte said, you make decisions that don't reflect who you truly are. You may choose the wrong person. You may choose the wrong job. You may make these wrong decisions because your soul is not healed. And so soul wealth is a big vision of mine. And out of soul wealth, you're naturally beautiful. You understand your beauty IQ is that you're God's daughter. And everything else flows out of that. You're a winner from within. You're comfortable in the skin that you're in. Your soul is always going to need an upgrade. You're ever learning.
Yes.
I don't call myself an expert because I'm always learning something new. And then you're going to turn up your joy, and you're both peaceful and powerful. And you know what? We can be happy.
Yes.
We can be happy. So that's the huge one for me right there. As God's distribution center, I want to own homes and land and real estate. God spoke a word over my life, Melanie, that I was going to make money in my sleep. But I wouldn't have been able to receive that. I know that God, you don't know that God is a healer unless you've been in a situation where you've been broken. And so I stopped resenting my purpose. I stopped resenting my past and said, okay, What do you want to do? I'm your distribution center. So right now I'm in a situation where if I really begin to tell you where I am, you'll be like, oh my God. But I know that I have to go through this valley to glean everything from the valley that I can glean about God, about myself, and about others. So as I am coming into being his distribution center, none of this sways me. None of this sways me because my character is intact. So I'm a distribution center. And when you speak vision, you're speaking by faith. I'm a distribution center of land and wealth and homes, not only for myself. God said if I believe him, I will be established. So in my bloodline, there's no more wondering and no more wandering because of who I am.
That's right.
And so I will own homes, I will own land. And one of my greatest visions is I don't want nobody to be homeless.
Glory to God.
Everybody deserves a roof over their head. Nobody deserves that. And so I know that homelessness is huge in Seattle. But I want to start in my sphere of influence. I want to start with my nephew who had nowhere to go and say, you know what? You come into my program. You learn about who God is. You learn about who you are. You learn how to manage your money, and you live here for half the rent while you get yourself together so you can hold your head up as a man of God and take care of your family. That's my vision.
Amen.
To provide, to go into the marketplace. Many of you seen, I'm on Facebook. My grandfather, Robert Van, was an entrepreneur. My grandmother was an entrepreneur. It's in me to want to do that. I authored a book about 4 years ago, on the brink of a breakthrough, so I've done that. I'm doing t-shirts on Etsy right now, which is really cool and really fun because I can do the powerful truth that God's given me on t-shirts, and I love to do that. So I'm going to continue on in the marketplace to live life luxuriously. I don't know why Hollywood keeps coming back to me, but I feel like I have a purpose there. Yeah, so I don't know if it's to encourage the actresses yet, but I just feel a pull there. So that's on my vision board, to be a speaker around the world and a servant around the world. Now, here's my friend Chadwick. They've been waiting on Chadwick.
That's right.
My friend Chadwick. And so I have Chadwick here because when you grow up in an environment where, how can I say this? You give yourself away easily. You don't see healthy relationships between men and women. That was not placeable for you. You just jump into relationships and do whatever, and you try to make it work, and they got baggage and you got baggage, and y'all trying to work the baggage out in the situation. So one of my goals is healthy relationships between men and women where you know how to be friends. I don't care what they look like on the outside, because I can have some cute brothers. Can I just be real? I can have some cute brothers and fine brothers, but their character wasn't worth nothing. And so I want to learn and also teach other women how to learn to have friendships, quality friendships, because I'm going to marry my friend this time around, okay? And so that's what Chadwick represents, and I want to teach my daughters and other young women in my family. I always teach my girls, watch out for red flags. They're there for a reason. So don't just give your white flag, you surrender to whoever. Make sure that they can be your friend first. And can you be a friend? Do you know how to be a friend? God had to teach me how to be a friend, because when you are broken, you don't really know how to be a friend. And so God has to teach me, and it's still teaching me how to be a friend. And so I'm not done. You see these open spaces over here. One of my big things is to preach and teach the gospel around the world. I know that's my call, but to also travel and take people with me to travel and to change. My vision is to be healthy, and my goal is to do that a few times a week. I was doing it successfully, and then life takes over, and then before you know it, you're not working out anymore. And so to have some stick-to-itiveness in this area, so I'll stop there. That is my vision.
Praise God. Hallelujah.
Anyone knows me, I love vision boards. So I thank you so much, and that's beautiful. And I know I'm feeling encouraged already. So thank you. Amen. Give her a hand clap. Next, we're going to have my namesake, and we've known each other over 30 years, and she's a powerful woman of God. Let's receive our own Melanie.
Yeah.
AKA Peace Queen. love it. Love you. Oh, give me sugar. Initial starts with D.
Yeah, we're both Melanie with 2 N's.
2 N's.
You have to tell people, don't you?
Yes, I have to tell them Melanie with 2 N's. They don't get just 1 N, or they call us Mulaney, Malani. Get all different types of
Sure do. I mean, I'm just going to call it out. Just yesterday, one of my coworkers spelled my name Melanie, and then my middle name Denice. And I looked at that, and I forwarded it to everybody, and I said, really? You gonna do me like that? You know me. How long? Then I said, dang. And I left it just like that. And the email came back. It was the most beautiful apology. He called me on the phone. He said, Miss Melanie, I'm so sorry. I said, yeah, you know, you should be. And he said, I'm so sorry. So as long as you can recognize it. But that's kind of what I want to talk about, because people have to see us.
Yes.
You know, and you see all of me. As simple as spelling my name proper means that you see me. And when we talk about seeing, we're talking about vision. Yeah, sister, so I'm gonna flip the question back to you and ask, what do you see for yourself? Because your life and your path and your journey is only limited by what you see. And so I have been a visionary all my life. It's just my gift. Okay? And it took me a minute to receive it, but I literally live in the future. And what I'm working on today is stuff that's this time next year, I'll be in South Africa with Mayor Woodard, and we'll be with a delegation of people. I don't know, it could be y'all, because it'll roll out, but we'll be there.
Come on.
And I'll have some youth with me, and they'll be playing golf.
Amen. Wow.
I'm working on that now. Okay.
Tell me how many countries. You told me that you traveled. Tell them how many countries you told us.
Oh, yeah. So I saw well, first of all, let me back up. I knew what I didn't want to do. And I talked about that last night, what I didn't see for myself. Because we live in our moments in time, and your gut tells you what you like and you don't like, so you have to be true to that. And you asked last night about what would I tell my 25-year-old self? I would tell and I said to love myself more. And loving myself more means believing in myself and listening to myself as a source of information that knows about myself, instead of listening to other people and what they think they know about myself. But I let that in my head. So loving myself more meant that I didn't want to be a government employee anymore. And I had worked for the city of Tacoma. I've had wonderful jobs. I call them plantations, but wonderful jobs. City of Tacoma, federal government. I worked for the Department of the Navy and the Department of Commerce. By the time I was 30, I was a GS-12, and my mom worked all her entire career to be a GS-7. And so when I'm telling her, Mommy, I don't like that job. And she's looking at me like, what's wrong with your job? You know, you go to school, you graduate, you get a government job. That's what was destined for us. Because corporations weren't quite open to us yet, so we worked for the government.
That's right. It's true.
And notice I said government. Worked for the government. So I worked for the state, for the city, and like I said last night, this is really important. Part and very pivotal in my life is I was driving to work one day and I said, Lord, I don't know what I want to do, but I know what I don't want to do. And this job right here, while I'm grateful for it, thank you, amen, and blessings, I don't want to do this. I don't want to work
Come on,
up 30
teach.
years later and be mad because you just giving me a watch.
Help somebody up in
And,
here.
you know,
Tell it.
retirement party and be done. And that my life hadn't been fulfilled.
Come
I'm
on.
leaving my kid, my daughter, and giving up all kind of stuff to be here, and I don't even like it.
Come on.
So I went to my supervisor and asked to be laid off. And also last night, I just have to repeat this. That's when the definition of faith became truly clear to me, which was poured into me by my very dear mentor, Les Brown. Many of you all know him, Les Brown, or know of him. But the definition of faith, sisters that were here last night, faith is believing that if you
Leap.
The net.
The net will appear.
you leap,
Come on.
and the net will appear.
That's right.
Okay, you
Wow.
leap and the net will appear. So my life and my testimony as I'm speaking to you now is about the leap and just trusting and believing. Yes, I left the Washington Management Service job for the state of Washington. So what? You know, that didn't define me.
Come on.
So
Come
much
on.
of us we define ourselves
Teach
by
it.
our titles, Miss Mel. You know, and so and what people think what you got. Okay, so when I was the city EEO officer, you all know me back in the day being on the radio and TV, and when I had all these titles, everybody thinks Miss Melanie's cool. And then when I'm not working at that job anymore, then they always go, so what you do? Where you work at?
Teach.
I'm defined by my plantation.
You better come on
And
now.
that's not who I am. So when you leave the plantation, run, kids, run!
Yes.
When you start running, and everybody like, where's she going? Where's she going? She knows she ain't supposed to be going that way. Why you going that way?
Come on.
And I ran to Africa. To answer your question, as I sit here right now, yes, I've been to South Africa, Swaziland, Namibia, Kenya, Malawi, Uganda, Ghana, just last month.
Yeah.
And that's my life.